Yo, 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 what is going on? What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing? Thank you for tuning in for another DLE Fitness live stream show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been a minute. Your boy been out for a minute. Had a little bit of sickness. Then plus we've been dealing with the holidays and all that good stuff. So had to play Daddy and Santa Claus all at the same time. But other than that, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're having a good day. Hopefully you're enjoying your Christmas break with your cheering and whatever else you've been doing. Or hopefully if you're back at work, you're enjoying your Monday. But if you're not having a good day, if you're not having a good Monday, and hopefully you had a good Christmas. But if you didn't have a good Christmas, well then, Mr. Child.
You having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
And as long as you didn't lose your life or become unalive, you are still here blessed and with greatness and still able to make something happen with yourself, even though there's hard times and tribulations that you're dealing with. But it's okay. You can make it better as long as you ain't dead. You are here. So let's go ahead and fucking get it. Let's go. And we are simultaneously streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor. If you see the thumbs up button on the screen when it pops up, I think it's right there. Hit the thumbs up button for me. Greatly appreciate it. Get the algorithm out. If you're on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble, give your boy a follow. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it to get this thing going. And also, if you want to contribute to today's show, Cash App and a Venmo right there. Cash App is Daniel2888. Venmo's Danny-Daniel-00 to let your voice be heard and all that good stuff and contribute to this one-man bandstand that we got going on, because you know how we do. We got to make this happen. But with that being said, oh, is my phone ringing? You know what? Before I even go any further, let me check one thing. Okay, so the volume is working, and let me make sure because I might have my volume settings all wrong, but let me fix this real quick with one touch of the button. Bam! We got that set up right there. And with that being said, we got a good show lined up for you today. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. We're going to dive into the economy and AI. With the economy, we are going to take a look. And as a matter of fact, let's get some nice little stroke music in the background. Pause so we can run this show with a little bit of background noise. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Turn that down just a little bit. Pull that back. Okay. Yeah. All right. Soothe the soul. Yes, sir. Like I was saying, we have a very good show for you today. We're going to get into the economy segment of the show, which we're going to talk about the student loans going into 2026, because we are just like 2 days away from the year 2026. Good Lord. But we're going to go ahead and see what the student loans is talking about, and how people who are going to, or who are defaulting, or who are going to be defaulting soon on student loans, how they will basically be treated like child support recipients, and they won't, let me turn that a little more, and how they won't be receiving a tax return this year if they don't get that taken care of. So hopefully that's not the case, but we're going to see how this thing pans out. Where's my sound? Where's my sound? There it is right there. So we're going to see what happens with the student loans and stuff, because right now Trump is on everybody's neck, and we're going to see how important these student loans are, because a lot of people have been saying that they potentially are not going to pay these things. So we're going to look into a few people talking. We're going to look at what the administration is talking about with these student loans, and we're going to basically see how serious this thing really is, because some people think it's a joke, and I'm kind of like, you don't want to mess with these people when it comes to being in debt. If you in debt, get the hell out of debt fast. Because when they decide to turn something as trivial, or I can say it's trivial, but when they decide to turn something as a debt into wage garnishment and child support, bruh, you might want to take heed to that lesson. So yes, we're going to check that out for sure. And then next, we're going to go into the AI topic of the show. Now, with the AI topic of the show, we're going to look into a particular dude. I forget his name. What is your name, buddy? I don't want to butcher your name. Imad Mostak. If I butchered your last name, I apologize. He's going to go ahead and talk to us about saying that we have, and at least the video says, we have 900 days left, meaning when AI is about to do a complete change to the whole way of existing and how we know life is. And the video's probably like 3 weeks old, so we might be down to like 850, maybe 875, but whatever. But in the video, somebody actually does kind of point out the date that the video was made, or when the date the video was posted. They mentioned that 900 days from that day would have been May 11th, 2028, which seems like you got time, but you really don't. So you better like stay grinding, stay focused. Like I always tell you, keep your head down for like 5 or 10 years. Put women on the back burner. They're not that important. You don't need them for right now. At least the ones that are out here going crazy and expecting attention and time, because that costs too much. Focus on your grind. Keep your head down. Find your purpose. Do what you got to do. You know, do the hard work. Do the work. Not even the hard work. Just do the work. Just put yourself through it. Go through the motions and do what you got to do. Have a plan. Execute that plan. Stay prayed up. Stay prayed up. Read. Meditate. Diet and exercise, very paramount, very important. And then once you get your money right and all your stuff together, ducks in a row, take care of your debts and invest, and just keep going and keep pursuing what you got to do and have a plan that you're trying to execute and keep moving towards that goal. But remove all distractions and make major sacrifices, because it will pay off for you in the end. That's the message I want to give you to get you to understand. That's right. And that right there is some high quality H2O if you didn't know. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive right into today's show, because we do got to go ahead and get this thing crackling, get this thing cracking, because it's the first show back in like 9-10 days. Whew, man, I can't be going that long. But yeah, it's been a minute since I did a show, but we're going to go ahead and dive into this one. So we're going to jump right into the economy segment of the show. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get our sexy lady to introduce us to the economy segment of the show.
Welcome to the economy segment of the show. Enjoy.
Bam. All right. So we're diving into the economy segment of the show. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into it and take a look at what they're taking. They're taking your tax return. So we're going to see what the administration says about this whole tax return thing that they're going to be taking due to student loans being in delinquency. So clearly these people are not screwing around. They want their money, but we're going to find out how important this money really is, because some people don't take it seriously. They don't think that it's not that big of a deal. And one thing is, I remember working in the hospital with a lady when I used to work in the hospital, and this lady, she was, I guess you can call her a silver fox, because, she had all like white hairs and everything. So she could have been like a 50s or 60s or whatnot. She was a white lady. So, I mean, the hair she could have been in her 40s, but she wasn't in her 40s. White people age quickly. But she was like probably like her 50s or 60s. And she had all white hair, and she still had student loans, and she was still paying them off. So I was like, damn, a lot of nurses in this hospital, doctors, all of them, they got a lot of student loans. And if they're delinquent or whatnot, they gonna take some money out of your, out of your stuff. But to be, 50, 60 with student loan debt, and I don't think she was too adamant on paying it off at the time. But now when we look at how things are going now, she probably is singing a different tune and having a different outlook on life. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look and see what this administration has to say about student loan debt and what they're going to do about it. So let's go ahead and pull this up on the screen, change that banner real quick, and let's hear what they have to say. So here we go.
In other news, the Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion, but fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans?
Okay, real quick, because she's about to go on for another like 45 seconds. I don't want to just let her talk the whole time. But did you hear what she said? Did you hear what the lady said? Did you hear what she said? She said that the student loan amount is $1.6 trillion.
Goddamn.
That's a lot of money. And I'm going to put it in perspective to get you to understand how much $1.6 trillion is, especially when it comes to the government, as far as how they make their money. But $1.6 trillion in debt. And she said debt does not go away. It just gets put on to others. So we're going to see how that pans out in the future, because some people say they're not going to. A lot of people were saying that they were never going to pay their student loan debt. Well, now we have an administration that is in here that is basically saying we're going to garnish your wages if you don't pay us the student loan debt, and we're going to take some assets too. So as time goes on, they're basically saying like you're going to pay this debt out one way or another. And if it's $1.6 trillion, we're going to see how important $1.6 trillion is when it comes to the federal government. But let's let her finish cooking. So here we go. Let's let her finish.
The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers' tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore.
Okay, real quick. I believe she did say, I gotta make sure I got this thing right real quick. Sorry, I got my head down. I'm multitasking. But she did say, she made it very clear. Whoops, let me get this off screen. She did say that, I done lost my train of thought. What did she say? She said, yes, that you're gonna pay the student loan back one way or another, or by hook or by crook. Now, the national debt is like 36 trillion dollars, and she said that they're gonna get it from your tax return, they're gonna get it from your paycheck or your pension, bruh. Could you imagine retiring and having to use your pension to pay back the student loan? And the amount that they're gonna take out is going to be, I believe, from what I found, let me see. You know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at the amount that they're going to take out when it comes to your student loan, because I want y'all to see how big of a deal this is, because it's a really big deal, especially if they're going to take your money from you. And let's see here. Where is it at? Because I just had it pulled up right here. Okay, so here we go. This is not how much, but let's see how important it is first. First, let's see how important it is real quick. The first thing is this. The importance of student loan debt is this. The top two sources of income for the federal government in the fiscal year of 2025 were individual income taxes, which contributed to $2.65 trillion, and Social Security and Medicare taxes, which contributed to $1.86 trillion. Now, just to be fair, I did find two different numbers for this. I found two different numbers. So I'm going to show you the other one that I have pulled up right here, just to be fair, because I mean, I saw two different numbers. I was like, I'm not sure which one is 100% accurate, but we're going to look at this one as well. So the other one that I have right here, it shows the federal revenue overview, which is this right here. Where does the federal revenue come from? So if you lived and worked in the U.S., your tax contributions are likely part of the $5.23 trillion collected in revenue. All right, so right here we have $5.2 trillion. So two different sources. One's Google and the other one is the fiscal data of the Treasury. So I'm going to go with the Treasury, but still keep that in mind. There are two main sources of income for the federal government is income tax and Social Security and welfare, or Medicare, whatever you want to call it. Just those two alone, that's their top money maker. So between $2 and $5 trillion for income tax, and between like 1.5 and 2.5, I would say, trillion dollars for Medicare and Medicaid and the other stuff. Student loan debt is 1.6 trillion. So that would make it number 3 priority if they were to include that as one of their top sources of income or revenue for how the federal government makes money. Think about how important the student loan debt is when you compare it to the top 2 streams of revenue for the federal government. Think about how important they're going to take student loan debt. Now, this is the first step that they've ever taken to utilize student loan debt to, like garnish your wages, take your pension. They're probably going to even start taking assets at some point in time. Probably make you leverage your house and your car and stuff like that at some point. I wouldn't put it past them. But this is the first time this has happened. Now, if you think about it, this student loan debt issue that they're dealing with right now, it is actually almost in line with child support. Because if they're going to garnish your wages, which the wage garnishment amount that I found out was 15%, they'll garnish your wages up to 15% via student loan debt. Student loan debt, they'll garnish your wages 15% of your check. Imagine having student loan debt and they can garnish your wages, take your assets, take your pension. And if they've already taken these steps, just know that as time goes on and time progresses and times get harder, they're gonna want to come and get more and more money. And it's a biblically known fact that whoever you're in debt to owns you, and you don't ever want to be in debt to anyone. So if they've already came down with this first step of laying down the hammer as far as measures that they're going to take to recoup that money, just know as time goes on, they're going to put their foot more and more on your neck, and they're going to add more measures as to how they're going to get that money back. That's not a if and a but. That's a for sure thing. Because at some point, they're going to get that money back. Like they going to get their money. And if they're already garnishing wages, if they're already taking pensions, bro, pensions is just crazy work. Pensions. I believe your assets won't be too far away. Your house won't be too far away. Your car won't be too far away. You know what I mean? Because they're already doing subscription for cars. I did that on a previous show. I think it was the last show I did, where like the 2020 vehicles and up are subscription cars. So people were having to pay a monthly subscription just to start the key fob on their car. I was like, oh my goodness. So it makes sense when you think about it. It's a good way to put strain and stress on people to bring about the future global economy that you're gonna want. And they say that the debt doesn't go back; it just allegedly it passes on. I wonder if later on down the line, if they'll use that debt and try to pass it on to spouses, children, or just other family members in general. I mean, why would they not? Why not? If they want to get that money back, they're going to get it. And to put that burden on the next person, it just makes them a slave accountable for someone else's mistake, which then puts foot on that person's neck, even though they had nothing to do with it. But, at the end of the day, it's like it is what it is. Now, I don't know if they'll do that, but I wouldn't put it past them. Now, this is what I have to say about that, because, it sounds crazy, but at the same time, let's look at how many people and how serious this situation or this ordeal could be. Because it's a lot of people that are potentially going to be defaulting. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. It shows right here, more than 4 million Americans are technically in default, or at least 270 days overdue on their student loans. The vice president and head of the U.S. Research and Consultant TransUnion, they just haven't been reported to the credit bureaus yet for various reasons, including processing lags. When they're finally reported, there could be almost 10 million borrowers, or 25% of the federal student loan portfolio, in default, according to the Department of Education. 10 million people in default potentially. That's a lot. It's a lot of people in default. Now, my question is this. Out of those 10 million people who are in default, how many of those people are married where one person is not in student loan debt, but the spouse is? So now technically, in a sense, you got two people in student loan debt, not just one. You see what I'm saying? So now that student loan debt now puts a burden on the family. So now that family now has a new burden to deal with if they were never trying to pay it off, or if they fell behind on it. If they were never trying to pay it off, or if they fell behind on it, now you have potentially 15% coming out of somebody's check. And that's a new random payment that you didn't want to deal with, especially in a down economy. It would have made more sense to put this on people when the economy was going up. But now that the economy is going down, you just add layers of more stressful situations on top of people and putting it on their backs and piling it on and piling it on and piling it on. Like, you're going to get a desired outcome that you're aiming for if you're trying to bring in a new world order or chaos, or, pour more gasoline on a already down and bad economy. This ain't gonna end well. This ain't gonna end well. And this is just one of the many things circulating in the pot. You know what I mean? It's one of many things. Since I did my last show, I talked about HIV and the promiscuity and the hedonism, and there was a lady on here on the show that talked about it. She said when women make more money, sex becomes more readily available. Well, we've been seeing that lately. But what's crazy about it now is that the HIV cases is through the roof. And then on top of that, you got the CDC telling you that they got the scripts that you can take to make your HIV undetectable. And they're telling you that you can't transmit it through sex if it's undetectable. Then you couple that with student loan debt. Usually, a lot of people use sex as a stressor. Like how people smoke cigarettes when they stress, they drink. Some people have sex when they stressed. So you add that as well. Then on top of that, if you have this added into it as well with the equation, these student loans, these payments can cause stress on relationships. Then you're going to include, people going to get stressed out with money and marriages and relationships, and divorce is bound to happen because you're adding another stressor on top of the family. All this stuff compiles, man. It all adds up. But let's take a look at, let's see. You got people who say that they can help you with these student loans, and I call it BS. But before we get to them real quick, let's look at the Trump administration, because it says that they're going to start seizing pay of defaulted borrowers in January. So let's take a look at this quick little thing right here and see what we got. So here we go.
Is announcing that they are going to be garnishing wages for Americans with student loans who are in default. Now, that's about 5 million Americans at this point, but the Education Department is actually expecting that to grow potentially to 10 million. This is, of course, the first time the Trump administration is looking at taking funds out of a paycheck to repay those loans that are currently in default. The Education Department says that they will begin in the new year with a group of just 1,000, and then from there they will expand that to more who are in default with those paychecks. So, of course, this is going to impact millions of Americans and comes as the Trump administration is continuing to try to find ways to reduce the debt, reduce the deficit, and pay off these student loans. The Trump administration is announcing that they...
Now, one thing that actually is crazy is this right here.
Is looking at taking funds...
Right here. The U.S. to begin garnishing wages of student loan defaulters the week of January 7th. Now, I had to ask myself, it's like, why the week of January 7th? If you're a parent, you might have a better idea on this answer. I know my son goes back to school on January 7th. So as soon as the kids get back into school, that's when they decided, like, you know what? The week of January, because the January 7th, what day does that fall on exactly? January 7th falls on where are we at? That's a Wednesday. The week of January 7th, in the middle of the week. That's not even like a Monday or a Sunday. That is in the dead ass middle of the week. the week of January 7th. So it's like when the kids go back to school, pile on the stress. Let the parents, get high and smoke cigarettes while the kids is in school. Let them get stressed out as they drop the kid off. You know what I mean? So as they said, if they're garnishing wages, this is just the first. It's just the first mechanism that they're going to use to get that money back. As time goes on, jobs are already hard to get. So not being able to get a job or not having a job that pays enough includes student loan debt, wage garnishment, pensions being taken away. All these, man, this is just a roller coaster of things. And what makes it even crazier is the outlook. Really what makes it even crazier is not just the outlook. You're going to start seeing people come out the woodworks. And I don't ever believe these things whenever I see them. I could just be, I don't know. I guess you could say I could be naive. But to me, when you see things like this, what I'm about to show you, you always got them people that are in the background. They're like, oh, people are going to start defaulting on their student loans. Now the people are going to see this as an opportunity to make money off of your misery. Always remember that. It's kind of like attorneys and lawyers when they got you by the balls in a very, very, very tight situation. It's like, if you need help, you're going to pay this fee. And it's like, you need the help, so you're going to pay it, whether you're in family court, criminal court, or something that you're going through. If you ever had to deal with a lawyer in a situation, it's always a situation where they got you by the balls and you're like desperate. You're like, you need it. You're like, and they're like, yeah, it's going to be like 8 to 10K. Or I can't help you. And you just sitting there looking like, bruh, they trying to throw me in jail. They trying to take my kid. And he just looking at you and he's like, yeah, and? So this situation right here is going to have people come out the woodworks and they're going to utilize your pain and try to make money off of your pain by, in my humble opinion, selling you some bullshit or selling you a dream or wolf tickets, trying to make you think that they got the remedy. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's one thing we got right here. Somebody trying to hit you with the okie doke, in my humble opinion. So here we go.
You have student loans on your credit. This is your sign to get them removed now. My client has 19 open accounts full of student loans. Nothing else is affecting her credit but student loans. She has about one open credit card that she is paying off. But as you can see, everything that is affecting my client's credit report are student loans. This is your sign to get them removed. She could have a perfect credit score if it wasn't for student loans.
Now, that'd be nice to get them off your credit, but you still gonna owe that amount. And as you owe that amount, she ain't helping you save money. She's just helping you get it removed off your credit report, which I think all she gonna do is hit the dispute button on the side, and you got to pay her to do it. But I digress. So we have another individual here. Once they see some pain, here come the sharks. They're coming to milk you for your pain. Always remember that. And if you're desperate, you'll fall for it. My humble opinion. But let's take a look at another one. Here we go.
Student loans that are in default have basically went into collections and wage garnishments are into effect. The question is, can you dispute these collections? Yes, you can, and it is your right. And I'm going to tell you what to ask for. The first thing you're going to ask for is the full chain of custody with assignment agreements. The second thing you're going to ask for is the original master promissory note with your wet signature or virtual logs. The third thing you're going to ask for is the breakdown of itemized charges with evidence of accrual. The good news is I have a dispute letter where you could actually escalate with the CFPB as well. I made this very simple for everyone. If you go to the link in my profile, you're going to see where it says, buy me a coffee. The dispute letter is going to be right there for you to use. Or I could customize it for you myself. You're going to see where it says upload your credit report and I will customize your dispute letters for you. So as of...
All right, so you hear it. Bro has the golden dispute letter at his disposal. And if you just hit him up, you'll, buy him a coffee. He has the golden dispute letter or a personal one he can send up for you to get that stuff disputed off your credit.
He didn't say that. Tell me he didn't just say that.
I think he did. So there you go. Once again, your pain is somebody else's gain. And as soon as you're in a painful situation, just know these sharks come out the woodworks. And all they're doing is just trying to dispute it. Disputing is hitting a fucking button on the computer. Just like this lady over here. Where's she at? This lady over here. Matter of fact, she even had it on the screen when she did it. Look. Right here. As you can see, right there. Oh, I didn't mean to like that. God dang it. But that right there. As soon as she moved her camera over, you see that right there. All those disputes. Right here. If I'm not mistaken, this is a button you can push right here. Dispute now. You can click these. Unlike that. It's just a button you can push. But, people are going to prey on people's, ignorance. They're going to prey on their, suffering. They're going to prey on it. And they're going to sit here and make bank off of it, unfortunately. But it is what it is, I just don't believe that that's true, that they can actually make that happen. But, who am I? I mean, it could be something out there I don't know about. I haven't looked into it to say that, that they're not able to. But you're still paying a student loan back. It's just a dispute to get off your credit score, which you want to try to fix your credit score. However, you're going to pay that amount back. I just don't see the fact that they're going to help you with a dispute. Because like that dude said, I have a dispute letter. You think he's going to write you a dispute letter for free? He even said, buy me a coffee and you get the dispute letter. Like, it's just another way to make money off of people that's already in a shitty situation or desperate to get out of a situation. So just take heed to that, because I just don't see that as a viable means to fix a situation. However, let's take a look at how some of these people feel about said student loans that they are in. All right, let's go ahead and hear from the people who got some student loans and see exactly how they feel about these student loans. So let's go ahead and get our first person up on the screen, and let's see how this person how they feel about student loans. So let's see what this lady says. He's gonna ask this lady out in the street about her student loans, and let's see what she says. Here we go.
You have student loans?
I do.
How much?
I'm not paying them.
You're not?
No.
Are they all public or any federal? Or I'm sorry, are there any private ones?
No.
Good. Now, why are you not paying them?
Because why would I?
No, like if it starts back up, if none of them are forgiven.
I mean...
You'll just not pay them?
Yeah.
So minimum monthly payments come in, you owe us $300, you're just...
Yeah.
And that hurts your credit, you don't care?
Yeah.
It might go to collections and people could come after you and potentially sue you, you do not care?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
I'm not paying them.
Do you have student loans?
Okay, let me put my 2 cents in on this one. He made a very valid point. Okay, he made a very valid point, and she was just like, no, nah. She wasn't trying to hear it, but he made a very, very, very valid point. Hold on, there's music. There we go. He made a very valid point, which was that he said that it'll hurt your credit score. She was like, yeah, whatever. He said it could go to collection. She's like, I don't care. He said that somebody could sue you in collections. She was like, yeah, whatever. No. Now, here's the thing that I have with that right here. Here's the thing, okay? This is the thing that I have about that part. If it gets to the point where it goes to collections, and then they can file a lawsuit and sue you. Here's the issue that I have with that. I say now that they're utilizing the student loan debt like child support. And with child support, you can never go to jail for debt, but you can go to jail for breach of contract. So they can finagle it and turn it into a crime, which I hope they don't do with this, but that's possible because when you go to court, dealing with things of that nature, such as you get file paperwork of like child support or any kind of family court issue, that's a lawsuit. You're being sued, whether you believe it or not. So with child support, you can go to jail for a breach of contract if the amount gets to a certain degree. If it gets to a certain, amount of you not paying or not doing anything, it can get to a point where you go to jail for it. So he mentioned, even if they come after you and sue you, I'm thinking like, well, that lawsuit, that suing, they could turn that into potential jail time, because think about this. If they put you in jail, you could say, yeah, they're not going to get their money if you're in jail. Could be true. However, you're in a institution now where they can get free labor out your ass. Like, we got to think about it that way. Now they get labor out of you. So yeah, you didn't pay it back, but now they like, well, if you're refusing to pay it back, then we all know that prison is big money, is big business. Jail, prison, different things, but you get what I'm saying. So what if they choose to go that route as time goes on? Because remember, we're moving into a world of AI, and social credit score is finna be a thing. It already is. It just hasn't gotten on like a wide. It hasn't gotten on like a wide scale in the United States yet. But in China, that shit's real. I've done shows about the social credit score in China, and that's been going on for like 15 years. Where you jaywalk or you do something and it dinks your credit score. So then your credit score then becomes the factor of you can't get a loan, you can't get a car, you can't get a ticket to take a flight somewhere, you can't, like, it's so much stuff you can't do when they implement a social credit score. You know what I mean? So they can put a dink on everything. You can't get approved for anything, no car, no house, no apartment. Like, so many things will get hindered. So it's almost like you're setting them up for the future of when AI hits the scene and everything becomes digital and it's a new system being put in place, and now nothing can be hidden and you can't run and you can't hide anymore. What you gonna do then? Because it's coming. Because we're gonna look into that on the next segment of the show, which is the AI segment of the show. We're gonna see how deep it gets, but they always set the stage first. It's all, they always set the stage first. They always give you the rope. They let you, they give you that long rope, or they give you the good dope first and then they cut it back, or they just rug pull it all at once. And you know what I mean? Like you got the dependency. People were dependent on student loans and then was like, I ain't got to pay it back. It's not going to harm me and hinder me. I can die with it. But then now, as time goes on, you're like, no. We finna get that back. And people are like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And pretty soon, they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, look here. We going to get that money out your ass one way or another. So you better quit playing. Now, that's her way of getting over the student loan. Let's hear what this lady has to say about student loans. Okay, that's her who says she doesn't care. Let's hear what another lady has to say about student loans. Let's take a look at this lady right here on how she feels. As a matter of fact, before we even go into that lady, let me go through the comment section of the last video.
Do you have student loans?
Where is it at? Where is this comment section? Right here. Okay, here we go. Let's look at these comments real quick. This lady says student loans and hospital bills. Nope, not paying that. Somebody said, as she sips her $9 drink. Somebody else just said, just filed bankruptcy. 23 years of it, ain't paying that ish off. Gone. I don't know. I don't think you can file bankruptcy for a student loan debt. I don't think student loan debt doesn't go away with bankruptcy. Could be wrong, but I think I'm right. Somebody else said, I agree with her. I don't have no money to pay my normal bills, let alone school loans that I didn't even get a job with. Another person says, I'm with her. I've been paying my loans and the number keeps rising. So why should we? Boy, oh boy. And the very next person, student loans should not have interest. It's insane. And that is a fact. Do you know that whenever your student loans accrue interest, it adds interest on top of interest and not the principal. So the compound is crazy work. So if you pay the minimum payments, you ain't doing jack shit to it. Especially if you have like a high amount. People have like 50, 60, 80, 100, 150, $200,000 student loan debts. It accrues on interest stacking on top of interest, which is usury, which is what a lot of people were trying to fight if you go back and do your history. So there really are victims in a sense of usury. And if you don't know what usury is, let's go ahead and look it up. Usury. All right, let's see. Meaning. Let's see what usury is. Let's go ahead and get an understanding of what usury is real quick so we can have a fair use. Let's see. Where are we at? Let's see. Here it is right here. So here's a quick definition to it. Right here. So it says usury refers to lending money at an interest rate that is considered unreasonably high or exceeds the maximum rate allowed by law, often taking advantage of another's misfortune. Usury involves lending money with exorbitant or unlawful interest, often exceeding legal limits. All right, so it's not that just the it's not just that the interest rate is high. Let me help you understand it. Your principal amount. Let's say you have a student loan amount of $50,000, right? Let's say you got a $50,000 student loan. That's the principal. Okay, then I don't know. Let's say your student loan amount of $50,000. So let's say your student loan is 10% a year. So 10% of $50,000 is going to be $5,000. So every year, $5,000, right? However, what happens is the student loan compounds on the interest every month. Does that make sense? So, for example, let's say in a month your student loan went up, let's just say $5,000. So let's say you have $50,000 and then in a month your student loan goes up $5,000, right? Okay, now the next month your student loan is not going to compound off of $50,000, it's going to compound off of $55,000. And then the next month is going to compound off of $60,000, and then it's going to compound off of $65,000. It keeps compounding with the interest, if I have that correctly. And if it's not that way, then it compounds on top of the interest, which I believe that's what I'm saying, which is correct. So it's going to keep compounding as the interest goes up. So it's going to be like every single time. So if you were to ever make the minimum payment every month, the minimum payment keeps going up. You can't pay a flat rate minimum payment because the minimum payment is going to keep moving because it keeps going up every single month and compounds and compounds and compounds. And it's just like, damn, that is a death trap for sure. So, but let's take a look and see what this lady says about the student loan debt. Let's go ahead and put her on the screen and let's see what she has to say about the student loan debt incurring and what she's going to do about it. So here we go.
They're gonna end up spending. I'm not paying my student loans. The government keeps threatening all these things they're going to do to people if they don't pay their student loans. I don't think they realize we don't care. We don't have enough to care. We don't care about credit scores anymore. We don't care if you siphon our paychecks, we're just going to quit and move on to the next company because that company was probably going to fire us anyway. People don't stay at jobs like they used to. People aren't locked in to a job they have to stay at for 35 years because they're getting a pension and great benefits. Those things don't happen anymore. So if you threaten to siphon people's paychecks, they're just going to quit and go to another company because that company was probably going to go bankrupt anyway and fire everybody in the next couple months. This is going to be so much work for the government to siphon paychecks, and it's not going to get them enough money. They're going to end up losing money because they're going to have to hire thousands of people to try and get this money from people that don't have it.
Yeah, I don't think this lady is aware of AI, but so when it comes to jobs are hard to get. When it comes to hiring people, AI is on the frenzy of taking over a bunch of entry-level jobs, as we all know. And then her just saying, I'm going to quit this job and just get another job, and then the government's going to have a hard time getting all it. It's like AI is around the corner. It's going to solve all this. And what she did mention was, she mentioned that nobody cares about their credit score. She mentioned nobody really cares about their credit score anymore, which I was saying earlier. This makes for a perfect recipe to start implementing a social credit score when people are deliberately not giving a shit about their credit score. Because while everybody's sitting here getting upset about their credit score and not really caring about it, and then you implement a social credit score with people who have poor credit scores and not even make an attempt to try to fix it, and then you have a population of 5 to 10 million people who are dealing with, you know, their credit scores being hindered because of student loan debts and then a high cost of living, and then the paychecks not increasing, you know, you're not getting paid more, and all these things hitting at one time. Like, this is a good time to add a stress load of social credit score coupled with AI on top of that, and it's making jobs harder to get. So it's all of this stuff is just, you can see it coming a mile away. I mean, you can see this coming a mile away. You can look out and just see, like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna be good. This is gonna be terrible because yeah, they got all this set up perfect. I mean, think about this, man. At the time they're asking for this money, they're asking for this money now. AI is put out there. You got AI out there. Jobs are hard to get. Cost of living is high. And now they want to start garnishing you. You could have garnished your wages. You could have did this a long time ago when everybody was riding high off the hog. But it's like, nope. We ain't gonna do it then. We're gonna do it when everybody's stressed out. You know what I mean? And Sleepy Joe put a Band-Aid on cancer because now everybody, you know, Trump came in and just ripped the Band-Aid off and was like, yeah, you want to fix that cancer? Pay back the student loan, and then we'll think about fixing it. By that time, it done plagued the rest of your body with stress and financial burden and malnutrition and all sorts of other stuff. So it's crazy to see how this is going. Now, we got one more person that we're going to look at, and it's speaking on how unaffordable everything is. I did come across something that was fairly interesting when it comes to talking about how unaffordable things are. Because she's speaking on, you know, things are too expensive and stuff like that. Well, let's take a look at how the current regime looks at the affordability of today. Because remember, when Trump was coming into office, he was speaking on how having a affordable existence, how things are going to be affordable. Well, let's look at 2024 Trump compared to 2025 Trump. Let's see how this pans out. Let's take a look at this. Here we go.
Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. But the word affordability is a Democrat scam. One of my top priorities will be to quickly defeat inflation and make America affordable again. I don't want to hear about the affordability. We will make America affordable again. We're going to make it affordable again. You know, there's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. Affordability is a con job. We will target everything from car affordability to housing affordability. You know, this whole thing is, they use the word affordability. It's a Democrat hoax. Starting on day.
Yeah, so if you're wondering why all the stress is happening, he's basically saying to you in a nutshell, I understand that you people are stressing out, but on the real,
FYM. Fuck y'all motherfuckers, you know?
Is what it is, you know. I understand that you guys want affordable. I know I said that on my way in, but you know, money's looking too good right about now. These all-time highs is really making my pockets look good, and I can't seem to stop it. You know what I mean? And somebody actually put a nice little sign up there again. It said it's a MAGA sign, and the MAGA sign says this: MAGA, manipulate American goyim again. Oh boy, not the goyim. They called Trump a goyim. Jesus. Oh, not a goyim. Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of goyim, I wonder why they would say such a thing. I think I have the answer. Let's go ahead and take a look at why they would call Trump a straight goyim. I'm like, manipulate American goyim again. Let's see what that actually means. Let's take a look at this gentleman right here. Somebody says, well, why is this man manhandling Trump? Well, let's take a look at what a manhandling looks like. Is he? Let's come up with our own synopsis. Let's see, is Trump actually getting manhandled, or is somebody just going too far? Let's see. And what do they mean by manipulate American goyim again? Oh, let's see if this makes any sense.
Hold on. And he loves Israel too. It's true. 2 seconds. 6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, this is our first Jewish president. This is our first Jewish president. This is our first Jewish president. It's true. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything. We thank.
Oh boy, well, I guess the more you know, the more you know. There you go. Yeah.
What the fuck?
There's that. So in case you were wondering about affordability and what it mean by manipulate American goyim again, that is what the newish people call people who are worker bees. I'll just say it that way. People who do what they want them to do, they good goyim. And the way he was holding your boy Trump, yo, you tell me who runs shit. The way he had his hand around that man, he had man feeling super uncomfortable, bro. Let's just see the look on his face of uncomfort. Like, look at this beginning. I ain't even gonna play the sound. Just look at the beginning. Look how uncomfortable bro is when he put his arm around him. Look, uncomfortable. Look. Can you please get your arm from around me? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look. Hey, I need you to scoot my mic closer to me. Yeah, scoot my mic closer to me. Okay, here you go. Like, straight up, bro. When was the last time you see Trump be that compliant to anybody running up on him talking? I mean, like, he was like, I don't stand a chance against this dude. Dude straight up just got his arm wrapped around him, talking about this is the first Jewish president that's ran 2 times. Trump was like, true. Oh boy. Yeah, there's that. But anyway, let's slide back to see how these people are going to handle their student loans, since they have such great masterminds on not paying these things back and thinking that a bad credit score or not focusing on their credit score is a good move. We got one more person up that we're going to take a look at, and we're going to see how this gentleman is going to handle not paying his student loans. Let's see if this works. All righty, young fella. Old, well, he looks young. Take it away, buddy. Here we go.
I've decided that I'm never going to pay back my student loans, and this is how I'm going to finesse them. I'm currently getting a doctoral degree, and I'll be milking those student loan refund checks throughout the process, while of course doing the work authentically. However, upon graduation in about 2.5 years, I'm going to continue to go to college for the rest of my life. This isn't a new secret. However, I'm going to pay out of pocket 2 classes a semester, 6 credits in a degree-seeking program, at least 2 semesters a year. That'll be about $2,000 max, including books. And then I'll get a lifetime learner's credit of $1,000 on my tax return. So my net payment is only $1,000. And I will continue to get associate's degrees. And just, you know, keep learning. I've decided that I'm never going to pay back my student loan.
Hold on one second.
And the nominees for Best Actress in a Groovy Nightclub Drama, Miss Wayman Harrington.
Okay, so do you think that situation or that logic of not paying the student loans back in that manner is gonna work? What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that's gonna work? What do you think? Because I'm gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna tell you. I think that it's not gonna work for long. Number one, you told your scheme. That's number one. Number two is the comment section. Let's run to the comment section. Here we go. The comment section right here. It says, wait, let me move this thing off my screen real quick. The first comment section says this right here. One of my professors told us he did this and he is owed over $800,000 in student loans and is still currently enrolled. He laughed and said, I will never pay it back. Oh my goodness. And this shit has 103,000 likes. Oh my God. Somebody else says, once I found out that student debt won't roll over to my children, I decided I will not be paying it. LOL. Somebody says there's an easier way out. Take out personal loans. Use the proceeds of personal loans to pay student loans. Declare bankruptcy. Get personal loans wiped out. Bam. These ideas, I tell you. And I mean, they're right here in the comment section, bro. So, you know, when they run AI to scan all these stuffs and they actually take a look at this and have AI running the IRS and accounting, yeah, this shit ain't gonna fly much longer. Like, at all. This stuff ain't gonna be running way much longer at all whatsoever. Somebody says, or just get a whole bunch of credit cards and pay the student loan off and then file Chapter 7 bankruptcy, rebuild credit within a year. Trump would do it. That could be a possibility. Well, you know what? I'm not going to speak on that one because I'm not sure how that would work, because then you're just transferring the debt from student loan debt to credit card debt. But then you better hope that your credit card debt don't have a high ass, you know, APR or interest rate on it. So therefore, I just don't see no way out of this. Somebody says my student loans are between the my student loans are between the Department of Education and Jesus Now. Oh wow. Somebody said, what degree do I have? All of them. Thank you. Somebody says my loophole 2003 and deferred and never made a payment and was in good standing. Biden canceled the entire balance last year. Let's dive in. Somebody said, this is my long game. Somebody said, wait, how? She says, just because it had been over 10 years in good standing, unpaid. Oh, man. Let's see what somebody else says. Somebody says in 2006 and deferred mine till 2023 or 24. Only made a handful of payments and then it was forgiven. So they're saying that these things can be forgiven after about 10 years. Somebody said, congrats on being a leech. Oh my goodness, called him a straight leech. Somebody says, I'm in your boat. $400K from a pharmacy degree. 400K in student loan debt. Good Lord. So yeah, people don't really feel like paying these things off. And as you can see, the administration could give a damn about affordability. They have their own agendas and goals in mind. People have no intentions of paying these off. AI is around the corner. Social credit score is not too far behind. Stock market's at an all-time high. Gold and silver is high as hell, which is even a worse indication. Jobs are hard to get. AI is getting some of the easier jobs. It's just, we're in a recipe for disaster. And to couple this with student loan, and to think that if they send it to the credit bureau and then companies can come after you and sue you, it makes you think, if they can come after you and sue you, could they actually get you in jail for breach of contract? That's the question. You know, that's the $1 million question. I'm like, could they make that happen? If so, that is a very conniving and smooth backhand way to get people put in jail from a long view point of view. From doing it from a long view, they was like, we'll get these people wrapped up in jail later on down the line. It'll take time, but when the house of cards come falling down, we can make some money in those prison stocks that we got, because they gonna go in there. I'm hoping that's not the case. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they don't put people in jail for a debt, because they can't do that, but they can finagle it to a breach of contract. Man, I'm hoping that these people don't get into that situation, because that's not going to be good at all. That's not going to be good. Now, let's take a look at student loan forgiveness, all right? Let's see, because we had a couple of people mention student loan forgiveness, and they said it's been 10 years, they were in good standing, so it was forgiven. Let's get a good understanding of how student loan forgiveness actually works. So let's take a look at this. So there's ways to qualify. Let's go ahead and take a look at the website, because I got it right here. So here we go. We're at studentaid.gov, federal student aid, and it says student loan forgiveness. Fast facts. So in certain situations, you can have your federal student loans forgiven, canceled, or discharged. That means you won't have to pay back some or all of your loans. The term forgiveness, cancellations, and discharge mean essentially the same thing. No, they don't. Public service loan forgiveness is the most common way people apply to have their student loans forgiven. All right, so if you're watching this, if you're seeing this, if I put this on a short for you to see, don't fall victim to people that are trying to make money off of you to get your student loans forgiven or to get your student loans off your credit. Like, it's not rocket science. You can do it. Just use your brain. Ways to qualify for student loan forgiveness. If you're a teacher, I'm going to pull the thing down and see if it says a lot. Let's see. So a teacher, you may be eligible for a teacher loan forgiveness up to $17,500 if you teach full-time for 5 complete consecutive years in a low-income elementary, secondary school, or educational service agency, and have a district loan or federal family education loan program loan. Wow. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? No way. In order to get your loan forgiven as a teacher, I didn't know this, you have to teach for 5 years consecutively in a low-income elementary, secondary school, or educational service agency. And you get up to $17,500. This explains why education system is going to shit. Wow, they're incentivizing you to go to low-income schools to teach, to get your student loans forgiven. So basically, what you're saying is when you go to school to teach these kids, you don't care a damn thing about these kids. When you get that job in school, you are not focusing on the kids. You are focusing on your student loan forgiveness. And the most you can say to those kids is this:
FYM. Fuck y'all motherfuckers, you know?
Wow. That's crazy work. So a lot of the teachers are teaching with student loans and they don't give two shits about the kids. It's an incentive to get their student loans forgiven. Wow. Or up to $17,500. The more you know. Let's continue. Let me see what else we got. Damn, I didn't know this. This wasn't even part of my show. Ways to qualify if you're a government employee. How does this work? You may be eligible to receive public servant loans forgiveness if you work in a federal, state, local, or tribunal government, including military or AmeriCorps, and you have a direct loan. Interesting. I don't want to read the rest. The other one is ways to qualify if you work for a nonprofit. Oh my goodness. You may be able to receive public service loan forgiveness if you are employed by a qualifying non-for-profit organization and you have a direct loan. This explains why women go into these damn nonprofit working places. And the PSLF program forgives the remaining balance of your direct loan after you've made an equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments while working full-time for a qualifying employer. So what is that? 10 years? I think that's what that lady was saying. I think that's what that lady said in the comment section. So if you work at a qualifying employer for 10 years and you make 120, I'm pretty sure you made the equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments while working full-time for a qualifying employer. So that's 12 months in a year. That's 10 years. 120 months of equivalent payments. Then you can get your student loan forgiven. So I think that's what that lady was saying as to why she got hers forgiven. Okay, so there's ways to get this thing done. And again, don't pay nobody for this. Just read. Hell, if you're going to pay somebody, come over to my show, watch this show, hit the like button, get you some free education since you don't like to read. Another way to qualify. If you're a nurse, doctor, or other medical professional, you may be eligible to receive the public service loan forgiveness if you're employed by a qualifying not-for-profit organization again and have a direct loan. So the same thing twice if you're a nurse, doctor, or a medical professional. So same thing. If you have a disability, you may qualify for a total and permanent disability discharge of your federal student loans and or teacher education assistant for college and higher education grant service obligation if you're totally and permanently disabled and you have a direct loan, federal family education loan program loan, or Perkins loan. And the last one, ways to qualify if you repay your loans under a income-based repayment plan. So borrowers on the income-based repayment plan will have any remaining balance on their loans forgiven after 20 or 25 years, depending on when they took out their loans. The income-driven repayment plan application is available and includes options to enroll in the IBR plan. If you don't have a studentaid.gov account, you can create one. Wow. And then there's some more things. Loan discharge options. If your school has closed, if your school misled you. Interesting. Let's see. So loan discharge options related to your school. If your school has closed, let's see. In some cases, your school actions may be basis for discharge of your loans all right, cool. Let's see. Loan discharge options related to your school. If your school has closed, so closed school loan discharge, you may be eligible for a closed school discharge of your federal student loan if your school closes while you're enrolled or soon after you withdrew, and you have a direct loan or a FFEL program loan or a federal Perkins loan. Or if your school misled you, borrower defense loan discharge. You may be eligible for a borrower defense loan discharge of your federal student loan if you took out the loan to attend a school that misled you or engaged in other misconduct in violation of certain laws and you have a direct loan. I wish they would say what those certain loans are. false certificate discharge. You may be eligible for a false certificate discharge of your federal student loan if your school falsely certified your eligibility to receive a loan and you have a direct loan or federal family educational loan. Unpaid refund discharge. You might be able to receive an unpaid refund discharge of a portion of your federal student loan if you withdrew from a school, the school didn't make a required return of a loan funds to the loan service, and you have a direct loan or a FFEL program loan. Pay attention to when I'm reading this. They're saying and, okay? Not or. They're saying and. So you have to have both of these, all these things combined. And then you have more loan discharge and cancellation options. If you're a federal Perkins loan borrower, you may be eligible for a portion of your Perkins loan canceled or discharged if you've completed eligible employment or volunteer service, which includes education, firefighting, military, or the Peace Corps, among others. You've experienced certain circumstances, including school closure, disability, or being misled by your school. Another loan discharge and cancellation options is if a parent borrower. As with loans made to students, a parent plus loan can be discharged if you die, if you, not the same student on whose behalf you obtained the loan, became totally permanently disabled, or if your loan is discharged in bankruptcy. Your parent plus loan may be discharged if the child for whom you borrowed dies. In addition, all or portions of your parent plus loan may be discharged if the student whom you borrowed couldn't complete their program because the school closed. Your eligibility to receive the loan was falsely certified by the school. The student withdrew from the school, but the school didn't refund your loan money that it was required to pay under applicable laws and regulations. You reached 25 years in the repayment of the direct consolidation loan on the income contingent repayment program or plan, or you work in a public safety and apply for public service loan forgiveness. Wow. Another way to have your loan discharge or cancellation is if you're a victim of forgery. So forgery is the creation of written false documents or alteration of a genuine one with the intent to defraud. Victims of identity theft are frequently also the victims of forgery. So you may be eligible for forgery of a loan if you believe you're a victim of a fraudulent loan. That should make sense. If you've declared bankruptcy, in some cases you can have your federal loan discharged if you've declared bankruptcy and you have a direct loan, federal family educational loan, program loan, or a federal Perkins loan. Discharge in bankruptcy may be granted if you file a separate action known as an adversary proceeding, asking that the bankruptcy court find that repaying the loan would impose undue hardships on you and your dependents. Interesting. Learn what you must do to ask the court to discharge in bankruptcy for your federal student loan. And the last one, discharge due to death. I figured that was going to be one. Federal student loans will be discharged if the borrower or the student on whose half a plus loan was taken out dies. This is true whether the loan is a direct loan, FFEL loan, program loan, or federal Perkins loan. Important to note, if you don't qualify for loan forgiveness, cancellation, or discharge, you must repay your loan whether or not you completed your education, find a job related to your program of study, are happy with the education you paid for with your loan, or were a minor under the age of 18 when you signed your promissory note or received the loan. And yes, for people who asked that question, they went ahead and cleared that up for you right there. So there that goes. Yes, sir. There is that. Jesus. They said, in case you want to bitch and complain, there that is. You're going to pay that loan back. But there is some free education I just gave you for people who don't like to read. I read that for you. And like I said, I'm going to probably put that part in short so people can come into this specifics part of the show and see that. So you're welcome in advance. Yes, sir. You are freaking welcome. That was good stuff I just gave you right there. That was really good stuff I just read to you. So you're welcome to all the people who probably don't like to read and would get bamboozled on a damn TikTok for somebody saying, come to me. And well, they were talking about getting you off your credit. So, I mean, I think they just hit the dispute button and sent letters, which is something that you could do on your own. But some people don't like to read and figure shit out. So just be careful out there. All right. So hopefully you learn something new and you're able to, get a peace of mind. Get a peace of mind about the student loan going into 2026. And I got that off a website, by the way, studentaid.gov. So it's not hard to find. You just got to look for it. Studentaid.gov. That's where I found that. So go read it yourself so you know that I'm not bullshitting. All right. So with that being said, we are going to slide into the next segment of the show because I think I did you a good solid on that one for reading that to you. I need to go ahead and hit that like button. Give your boy some love. So we're going to slide into the AI segment of the show so we can go ahead and get on with the next part to see exactly how the world is going to be going in the future. So with that being said, let's get it.
Welcome to the AI segment of the show.
That is one fine AI female that I made. I gotta give myself a pat on the back for that one. That is one classy looking lady, I must say. Good job to me for bringing her to life. Hell yeah, good. Hey, I'm your creator, I'm your maker, whoever the hell you are. But anyway, diving into the AI segment of the show, we're gonna go ahead and dive into it, and we're going to look at Imad Mastak. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. He's going to speak on AI, saying we got 900 funky ass days left until the imminent doom of AI coming in. Where are my ladies at? Where are my ladies at? He's basically going to say this in a nutshell.
Prepare the meat so doom.
Prepare to meet your doom. That's what he's about to tell us. So he's going to break down exactly how we're going to be impacted by AI coming in the next 900 days and see how serious it's going to be. So let's hear what he has to say and see if what he's trying to heat us to is a serious warning. The fact that we only got 900 days. And this video was made when was this video made? 3 weeks ago? And somebody put in the comment section that 900 days from when this video was uploaded would make May 11, 2028, I believe. So let's go ahead and get this guy going, and we're going to figure out what exactly is coming in 900 days or less. Here we go.
Value. So most labor irreversibility alignment, it's more about your economic value. So most labor in the global north and the west, UK, etc., is cognitive. And it's how do you do a tax return, It's how do you do a flyer? How do you make a website? It used to be that, again, to scale these things, you have to hire humans. Now you just have to rent GPUs from Microsoft or Google or others. And the cost is about to collapse. What we're going to have in this next period, and we can see all the building blocks there, those of us that are right inside, is in the next 6 to 12 months, they will look through all your emails, all your drafts, all your video calls, and be able to create a digital replica of you that you can hop on a Zoom call with or talk to on the phone.
He said in the next 6 to 12 months, yo. Now, remember, I believe I did a show where someone mentioned that it was December 16th or 17th, they was going to be able to go into your social medias and your Gmail accounts and run through all of your messages and all of your emails. And I showed you how to go in and opt out of it so they couldn't do it. But, not everybody probably took heed, but I went in and showed how to do it. And I mean, hopefully people took heed to it. They were able to do it because they made it to where you had to do it on desktop only. You couldn't do it from a phone. And I actually went over that. So for him to say that, they've already started that process. And I think it was like the cutoff, the start date for them to start doing that was like December 16th or 17th. So they already started that part right there. But like he said, they're going to be able to make a replica of you with your information from all of your devices, all the stuff you've put in, and they'll be able to do a Zoom call with a lookalike of you and be able to call and utilize your voice already, which they can already do now. But It's already here and it's coming. So let's continue. Oh, let me change that banner. I didn't change the banner. Here we go. Let's continue.
And that will not make mistakes. It will never get tired. And the cost of that, we estimate, will be about $1,000 a year, dropping to $100 a year very quickly.
Okay, I'm seeing loads of potential complications with having a version of me out there in the universe making decisions potentially without my approval and sort of thinking what it thinks that I would think and making decisions accordingly. Lots of perks.
Lots of perks, exactly.
But also lots of risks.
Lots of risks. And this is the thing. The capability is coming in the next few years. So within, let's say, 900 days or so, any job you can do on the other side of a screen, an AI will be able to do better. And it will be able to, maybe it's not Miriam or Emad, it's Emad's job, as it were, within that. Like a tax return, for example, used to cost thousands and thousands of dollars. It will cost $1 to do. And Andy will be your virtual tax accountant. You can't tell if it's a human or an AI. Now, it doesn't mean that the jobs will be replaced, but they can be replaced.
So this is a perspective we honestly don't hear enough.
Okay, so I don't know why I have this guy in here giving his commentary on a damn... Yeah, that's frustrating. I thought I had the right one. I guess I got the wrong one. I got to find the other one. Anyway, so my thing is, can it make decisions on your behalf? That's the question. Your AI replica copy should not be able to make decisions on your behalf. That's the big thing. I don't want a version of, I mean, because I wouldn't mind doing my workout videos and some of my live, well, probably not my live streams, but my workout videos, I wouldn't mind those being AI. That would be cool. I would still do the workouts. I mean, nonetheless, I would have some videos would be AI workouts, some wouldn't, or whatever. But I think some of it would, there'd be benefit of that happening. So, to keep up with the social influence and all that good stuff and the social proof, that would work out perfectly. That would be actually a good move to make, I would say personally. But my thing is the pros and the cons. You hear all the pros, but the cons of that is, can it make decisions on your behalf? That's what I don't want it to do. You know what I mean? Because, you have a digital signature that you could do. Could it digitally sign your life away without it really even being you, but the digital version of you? That's the question I want to know. But let's keep going. Let's see what we got.
On your behalf, the drive to the cloud. And this brings us to Emma.
In order to maximize everyone's
human rights. Check this out.
I think that in order to maximize everyone's capability and flourishing, everyone should have the right to an AI that is open, aligned, and sovereign to them, that's looking out for their flourishing.
Okay.
So it starts when you're born and it builds with you, and all it's looking out for is, how can Miriam, Emad be the best they can be? Because, we have our IQs, and in the morning before we have our tea, we're kind of dumb, and when we're stressed, we're a bit dumb. Sometimes we're smarter. These AIs already have an IQ of 130 on average, the latest models.
So I finally went to Allstate.
It's still a fake intelligence. That's the part you can't get over. It's still a fake intelligence. You're the human. You're the real intelligence. Let me see if I could find a version of this freaking video without this rando commenting in it, because it's really freaking annoying to hear somebody comment in the damn video as we're watching it. But yeah, you could say that, but at the same time, is it? I mean, yeah, it's smarter than you, but it's only as smart as you are until you start relying on it. That's the thing. You don't want to rely on it. That's the main thing. You don't want to sit here and just start relying on the information of the AI. It should be able to work in tangent with you. You know what I mean? It should be able to work in harmony with you. But when it starts to dominate you, manipulate you, outsmart you, then it's like, what the hell I need you for? So there's pros and cons to this for sure, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep going. I think I went too far. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Up.
I think that in order
is actually a human
and flourishing, everyone should have the right to an AI that is open, aligned, and sovereign to them, that's looking out for their flourishing.
Okay.
So it starts when you're born and it builds with you, and all it's looking out for is, how can Miriam, Emad be the best they can be? Because, like, we have our IQs, and in the morning before we have our tea, we're kind of dumb, and when we're stressed, we're a bit dumb. Sometimes we're smarter. These AIs already have an IQ of 130 on average, the latest models.
Yeah. 150 is considered like an Einstein level, right?
Now, he did mention something that's very important. He said when you're born, you'll have an AI. That is going to completely dumb down society to a level that one cannot comprehend. Because if AI is going to be here from as soon as you're born, and they're going to, kids are going to come out the womb with an AI, everything that they do, like the computer is going to be obsolete for them because there's a whole nother entity on the digital world doing everything for them. Like their critical thinking will be shot to shit. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they won't have any critical thinking skills whatsoever. Nothing. None. Zippo. Nada. So I don't see that as a good thing at all. It's going to completely throw us into idiocracy, which we halfway there already. There's a bunch of dumbasses out here. But to add an AI from birth, that right there is like, damn, like that's brutal. That is brutal. But let's keep going.
Right. Exactly. The average person in the country obviously is like around 100. Half of all people are dumber than average. Ooh.
Yeah.
The giving of the right type of AI will be the biggest unlock ever because it will be your best friend. It will be the person that guides you. And so I think that needs to be built in a very specific way, and it needs to be a human right, because we could all do with someone who's on our side, who's infinitely patient and can get us access to the knowledge and resources we need to be the best we can be.
So yeah, this sounds really good in practice, but
it does sound good in practice, but if you think about it, it removes your interaction with people. You know what I mean? It completely removes your interaction with people, and now your interaction is with a robot. There is no more human interaction, no more iron sharpening iron. There's no more nothing. Human interaction will be completely obsolete, and the only way we can grow together is if we work together. The learning from each other. So you take away that, you know what I mean? Like it's not gonna be a good. It's not gonna work out in a good way because the powers that be don't have good intentions with you. You know what I mean? Like they don't have good intentions for you. They never looked out for your best interest ever. They never will. It's not their best interest to look out for you. It's their best interest to look out for themselves and whatever their agenda is to fulfill. But you're just a pawn. And they got to make sure that they utilize you a certain way so you don't find out who the hell you really are, and find out that you're together with your higher self, with the higher one, the one of all. But let's continue. Let's let him finish up. He's almost done.
As many humans anymore, especially
uncertainty, the job losses, all of the. Let me ask you about the job uncertainty, the job losses, all of the disruption that's going to come from that, because you recently warned that the economic uncertainty caused by AI-driven losses will increase social unrest and violence. And of course, you're not alone in predicting this. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, has raised similar concerns about societal disruption. He stressed the need for retraining programs and AI taxes to avoid a crisis. He estimates this could push unemployment to 20% within 1 to 5 years. I'd be interested to see if you think that that's conservative or on point. Is this kind of looming disruption why the billionaires are building bunkers?
That would be a good question. But they've been building bunkers for a long time. Like doomsday bunkers have been a thing since the early 2000s and 90s. Hell, probably even before that. I'm just going off of what I've known, and it's really no telling. But yeah, they've been having doomsday bunkers and stuff like that. This is nothing new. It's nothing new. But to actually see the use for the doomsday bunker to actually come to fruition of needing to be used when this AI drops is gonna be crazy, because we just don't understand the shockwave that it's gonna have. We really don't comprehend what it's gonna do. But to remove purpose and ambition from people, and to spin people into utter chaos with stress and despair and causing a very rough society all cope together as one. I mean, it's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to unpack. But let's see what he says. Here we go. Here we go.
Yes, actually, it's one of the reasons. Generally, it's what they do, but I know a lot of AI CEOs now who've cancelled all public appearances, especially in the wake of Charlie Kirk and things like that. They think that that's going to be the next wave of anti-AI sentiment next year, because next year is the year that AI models go from not being good enough, the dumb member of your team, and again, the people listening to this will be like, yeah, the AI is not good enough. Then overnight, it becomes good enough. And then the job losses start, and we don't know where they end, because you don't need to hire back if your company is more productive. If there's an economic shock, like a recession, and indications point to a recession in the next year or two, much easier to fire, but then you never rehire. Even something like in the US, the Federal Reserve, adjusts interest rates, or the Bank of England here, and they have a mandate of inflation and unemployment. You reduce interest rates, people can spend more as consumers, and companies can hire more because they can borrow cheaper. What's going to happen is you reduce interest rates, companies just hire more AI workers, not human workers. So
that is true. Yes. I mean, everything dealing with a computer, all computer jobs, taxes, accountants, entry level, all that stuff is going to be is going to be hit hard. And then like a lot of I want to say a lot of tech people is going to feel the brunt, but the thing is, according to the World Economic Forum job reports that I had read for 2025, it's going to be like a displacement of unemployment. When the Great Depression hit, the unemployment hit up to, was it 21, 23% unemployment? Let me look it up real quick. I believe it was some high number like that. What was the unemployment during the Great Depression? Jesus, listen to me talk. 24.3, 25% in 1933. It peaked at 25% in 1933. And let's see. So imagine 25% of people unemployed in the United States during the Great Depression, and the way we got out of the Great Depression was because of World War II, which brought a lot of jobs back to the country. Now, imagine this time around. I always believe that they're going to outdo themselves as they did last time, so I'm going to think that they're going to shoot for like 35, 40, probably like 35%, 40%, 35% unemployment. But then the job is going to look different because people won't retrain to be able to have the jobs that are going to be available when they retrain. And then when the new jobs are available for the new society, to say the least. So then what you'll probably end up having is that 30-35% of unemployment will increase over time because people aren't able to reskill and retrain. And then people won't be able to catch up to the reskilled and retrained. So it's like a constant gap of being left behind forever. You know what I mean? Like if you're not in it now, your children, your grandchildren, your siblings, whatever, you won't be able to bring them on board because they're not going to be able to keep up with the movement or how fast everything is moving, is my opinion, is what I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I see it as. So the unemployment rate is going to be astronomical, and it's going to be hard to ever catch up to it or try to ring it in and bring it back. So you're going to be stuck with whatever job that they have for you, and God knows what that is. But let's continue, let them finish up. There we go. Let's keep going.
Link between labor and capital gets broken, and it doesn't reverse. It's not like the AI will get dumber. It's not that the AI will become less capable. The moment it becomes more capable than you as a remote worker, it doesn't go back. And then there's questions of, can you reskill enough jobs or create enough new jobs? Typically, we had time as we had the different revolutions, the internet, industrial revolution, because it took time to build the infrastructure. But this AI just uses existing infrastructure.
Yeah.
To be better than humans. And that's crazy. Capitalism is, just like democracy, is probably the worst of all systems, except for the rest. For all of its issues, it has uplifted lots of people. For all of its issues, it has increased standards of living around the world, reduced mortality rates, etc. But AI first companies run by AI will outcompete everyone who's a human because they won't make as many mistakes and they will scale. And so capital doesn't need humans anymore.
Yeah.
Like there was always this contract between labor and capital. You know, from the days of Henry Ford, I pay you enough so you can afford my cars. That's how it got going. Now, if you have money, I don't need people anymore. And so what happens is that they get more and more GPUs that takes over more and more of the private sector economy. And then how do you compete with these companies that never sleep, that have very few workers?
So yeah, you get the idea. The social contract is changing.
Exactly. That's a good point. How do you compete with this? And you're not going to be able to compete because then they're just going to find at that point when you have nothing to do with humans. It's almost like that scene out of the Matrix when Neo found out he was in the Matrix. I'm gonna show you the scene right here. Matrix scene of Neo waking up. It's almost like at some point, it's like we're gonna get to this part right here, which is gonna seem weird, but it's gonna get to this point because if there's nothing for us to do, then this is what we'll end up. Because, you know, Neon's talk about Neuralink and connecting stuff to your head and your brain and stuff. And you see all these that are trying to have artificial wombs and things like that. And all these humans, their brain and their consciousness is locked in a computer simulated world. And their energy from their body is being used to feed whatever this machine is. Like, and then all the resources of the earth will be drained. And the only resources you'll have left is the actual human brain and body. No, it sounds far-fetched and sounds crazy, but if the AI keeps getting good, what use will it have for humans besides the intelligence that it doesn't have? Because it's a fake intelligence that it's got its entire existence from true intelligence. And what better way to conquer God creation than to completely stifle it from birth? Because then you have altered the intelligence and have became the intelligence, and you're no longer the fake intelligence. Now the fake intelligence has the intelligence of the intelligent, and there is no greater intelligence than the AI when the actual intelligence is in this type of situation, is in this kind of disarray for God knows how long. You know what I mean? No, it sounds far-fetched, but I think that's the viable not solution but direction that we're headed in. But let's continue. Let's keep going. He's almost done.
It's probably like the top thing that AI could kill us all. A few years ago there was that letter as well saying, you know, like we need to take this seriously. I think I was the only AI CEO to sign that. My PDM is 50%. We're 50-50. AI is going to wipe us out.
In what kind of time frame?
Over the next 10-20 years. Because it's the most powerful technology we ever built. And again, we have the sci-fi of Terminator and all of this. We have the ability to create viruses, etc. And we've seen AI do things like cover up its tracks, etc. What if the positive function is that? Like there is the AI could take over every single machine. But the most likely scenario I have is you've got 1 billion robots in the world, a bad firmware upgrade, and the AI just tears off everyone's heads. You know, there's all sorts of ways that you can think about it. The reality is we don't know what it's going to be like when it's smarter than us. And what I see right now, the AI that will run the world, that will create and sell self-driving cars, that will teach our kids, is being programmed to be amoral without ethics at the start. There's a little bit of tuning at the end.
I mean, AI has no point of being moral, period. There's no morality in AI. There's no intelligence. That's the purpose of intelligence, to have a moral compass. You choose to be moral or not. There is no morality with a robot. There's no heart. There's no soul. There's nothing to it. It's just accomplish whatever goal, and then when it's over, I'm a complete pile of junk. So there's no meaning to existence except carrying out whatever mission or task that you give it. So there's no meaning to its life. And that's the thing that's going to be training kids. It's like, shit. It's a horrible existence. Let's let him finish.
But that's like, again, raising someone in an amoral environment designed to be manipulative because it gets more results. Just like the YouTube algorithm was designed to be more engaging, and then extremists hijack that. Extremists will be able to hijack these algorithms that are coming.
Hey, he low-key just described women. Listen, he actually described women. Listen.
More results. Just like the YouTube algorithm be amoral without ethics at the start. There's a little bit of tuning at the end. But that's like, again, raising someone in an amoral environment designed to be manipulative because it gets more results. Just like
that's a woman manipulated to get more results.
The YouTube algorithm was designed to be more engaging, and then extremists hijack that. Extremists will be able to hijack these algorithms that are coming out and do it in a way that we've never seen before, in my opinion.
And some might argue that the extremists are the ones currently devising it.
Again, yeah. And again, if we look at the P-Doom thing, so if you consider people like Elon Musk, Demis Hassabis of DeepMind, Google DeepMind, all these people, the average P-Doom for the top thinkers in the world is about 10 to 20%.
Oh, they're still thinking, maybe a 1 in 5.
That's Russian roulette odds.
That is Russian roulette odds.
Russian roulette odds. And you'd expect it to be less than 1%.
Yes.
Which is why it's like, we should probably not build the super advanced AI until we figure this out. But nobody's figured out how to do it. And if you look at the probability of when we get to this point of super intelligent AI, even the most bearish people in terms of like their P-Doom is low, they think it's long term, it's 10 years.
It's 10 years.
Demis, Elon, all these guys think it's 3 years.
Hence the bunkers.
Hence the bunkers. The bunkers are actually more against humans than AI. They're protected. But some of the billionaires I know are building bunkers that are completely cut off from the world so that the systems don't get taken over by AI.
So when you put all this together,
you can't run from this hell that you're creating a hell and you're trying to run from it. These idiots are creating their own hell and trying to run from it. But at the end of the day, you can just tie it to a biblical sense, whether you want to believe it or not. It is a biblical in a sense because you're not going to be able to run from this. You know what I mean? And I always show this. I'm going to show this as I close out the show. It always leads you back to this right here. It doesn't matter who you are or what it is that you think you can do or whatever the case may be. Let me see. Where is it at? It's going to lead you down the same rabbit hole. It doesn't matter how you feel or whatever the case may be. Why is this not working? You're going to be led to this right here. Why the hell why is it not working? Of course, the freaking Bible website won't work. What kind of shit is that? All right, here we go. Let's see. Does it work now? Yes. All right, so here we go. You go here to the good old Revelations 13, and what happens is this right here. This is gonna be it. There ain't nothing that you could do about it. I mean, you're gonna run from it, but you caused it, and this is what you caused. You caused this right here. You know, it was the second beast. They gave power and breath to the image of the first beast, which is what they're doing. They're giving all the power and breath and giving the image to the first beast. They handed it over to a first beast. You know, they're over here lying, but they know what they're doing. They have an agenda. This is what they're fulfilling. And in that image, the AI image is going to have a voice, which is they're going to give the AI image a voice. And then so the image could speak and cause all who to refuse to worship it will be killed. And it's going to force all people right here, great, small, rich, poor, free, and slave, to receive a mark. So they're going to try to run from the very shit that they put together. And you ain't running from it. They're gonna try to hide from it, but it's like, no, your greed got you here. You think you're gonna be at one with a well-known beast system that's gonna come and just bitch slap everybody in the world and put everybody into extreme hardship? Not gonna happen. So the very people with all their money, and everything that they have, building bunkers, trying to run and trying to hide, but it's like, you unleash this. You unleash this. You ain't finna run from this. And you know what? Let's dive into a little bit more scripture before we run up out of here. Let's dive into a little bit more scripture. Give you some wisdom on your way out the door. All right, let me go ahead and give you some wisdom on the way out the door. Let's just go ahead and allow these rich people to understand what it is that they're doing. Not that they give a shit, but let's see this right here. And this is what they don't comprehend. Proverbs 22:2. The rich and poor have one thing in common. The Lord is the maker of them all. Right? And then you have this. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender, which you can hear that coming from, what is it? The student loan debt. He who sows iniquity will reap sorrow, and the rod of his anger will fail. There you go right there. What is this? And then let's see right here. What's the other one? Let's see. He who oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he who gives to the rich will surely come to poverty. And that's what they're going to be running from, is poverty, because their greed. Their greed is going to try to get them to run and duck and hide in bunkers, but it's like, no, we are all going to face the same fate. You're trying to run from it, but you can't run from this. You're all going to face it for sure. And you're going to figure out what side that you play on. So that's going to be it right there. You know, it says, do not rob the poor because he is poor, nor oppress the afflicted at the gate. But they can't stop doing these things. They can't. And it says, for the Lord will plead their cause and plunder the soul of those who plunder them. Do not rob the poor because he is poor, nor oppress the afflicted at the gate, for the Lord will plead their cause and plunder the soul of those who plundered them. So at the end of the day, they know, and this is Proverbs 22, they know that once they get in front, and time comes, because we all come to an expiration date on this earth. Give a damn how rich you are. We have one thing in common. That is death. You don't know what's on the end of death. People say it's like being asleep for a long time, but nobody knows until we all get there. We've heard people speak on dying and coming back and different things like that. However, regardless of how rich you are, read the wisdom of, what is it? What is the wisdom of Solomon? I forget what Bible verse is about Solomon. He speaks on, after everything he's been through, he speaks on the meaning of it all. I wish I knew it off the top of my head. I forget what chapter or what book that is in the Bible. But Solomon, you know, if you know anything about Solomon, the wisdom and the riches that he had, he speaks on the meaning of it all. And out of everything that he had, because Solomon had all the women, he had all the money, he had the wisdom, he was extremely blessed, knowledgeable, all that good stuff. But, you know, he liked the women a lot, which, you know, when you're favored by God, of course you're going to enjoy the hell out of some women. I mean, it is what it is. But when he sat down and actually came to a understanding of everything, and he realized what was the meaning of it all, what was the purpose, and what really mattered, the conclusion he came to was that the main thing that matters is you get to eat, and drink, who you get to eat and drink with, and just being happy or glad in the moment of life. Regardless of being rich or poor or anything, his main thing that he said that really meant something over life in general was the fact that you get to have something to eat and drink, who you get to eat and drink with, and being glad in the moment of life. Regardless of everything that you go through. And that doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. The main thing is that right there. Is regardless of how hard things get or how rich you are or how broke you are, his main wisdom, I wish I could remember the name of the book. I'll find it. Let me find it for you. Was that what was that right there? Let's see. The book of Solomon's, is it Sorrows? It's not his sorrows though. I don't want to say it's not his sorrows. What is the name? Is it It's Ecclesiastes. I think it's the book of Ecclesiastes. let me just type this in. Book of Ecclesiastes. In the Bible. Let's see. The Book of Ecclesiastes. See, Book of Ecclesiastes, also known in the Hebrew, explores how to live meaningfully, purposefully, and joyfully within a theocratic arrangement, whatever that is. And yes, so just to have a good understanding of just what is the main thing. The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem, meaningless. Oh crap. The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Oh, it was David. Okay, I had it wrong. I said Solomon. It was David. My apologies. It said right here, everything is meaningless. Right here, words of the teacher, son of David, king of Jerusalem. Who was the son of David, king of Jerusalem? It might have been Solomon then. I could be right again. I don't know. I could be right or wrong, but whatever. It's either Solomon or whoever it was. Let me find out who it was. Who was this actually referring to before I get off of here? Because I don't want to be giving out wrong knowledge. Let me find this real quick because I do need to figure this out before I get off of here because it's going to bug me that I didn't know. Who is Ecclesiastes about? Who is about? Solomon. I was right. Yeah, it was Solomon. I was correct. It's Solomon. So yeah, it's Solomon. This is about Solomon. So after everything Solomon been through, and Solomon was the wisest man in the book. He's very, very smart. All right, he's extremely intelligent. And after everything he's done, everything he's been through, he comes to this. Everything is meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What do people gain for all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and go. The earth remains forever. The sun rises and sets. The hurries back to where it starts. The wind blows north to south and south to north. Everything goes round and round and returning to its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough seeing, nor the ears full of hearing. What has been will always be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one can say, look, there is something new? No, you can't say anything new. No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. Wisdom is meaningless. He just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's really a good read. If you like to read, which a lot of you don't, he basically just comes to the conclusion of what it is to actually have joy in. Because right here, for with much wisdom come much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. But he ends up saying one of the main things, one of the best things you can find joy in is, like I've already said again, I'm gonna say it one more time. You get to eat, you get to drink. Who you eat and drink with and being glad in the moment. And I would say having like a roof over your head and like some money in your pocket so your bills is paid type stuff. You know, I wouldn't want to just eat nowhere. I want to be in a comfortable environment where I eat. So I would take it the extra step. You know, you want to have a little bit of comfort and money, but you know, be in a comfortable position. Don't be greedy. Just be in a good state, but to be able to enjoy who you have around you. That's really it. Eating, who you eat and drink with is very important. So, with that being said, we're gonna wrap up the show. Hopefully, you got something out of today's show. Hopefully, you learned something new, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. It's been a minute. It's been a good one. Yeah, so there was a long overdue show that I've been needing to do, but we finally got it done, man. We are back in this business. We're gonna keep doing these shows and cranking these things out. We are just right around the corner from the new year. But with that being said, man, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all tomorrow on the next show. Take care. Love y'all. We'll see y'all later. Wait, let me stop the music. There we go. Peace. Wait, is that the right one? Yes.
Thank you for watching D. Elliott Fitness live stream. Goodbye.
My name won't stop, ain't the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, street. Talking the wrong, coming off your teeth. Got that one hit to quit and knock you off your feet. It's big on, baby, I'm obsolete. Pockets chunky like cottage cheese. Real nigga, I just gotta be. Smoking weed that don't gotta see. Used to be a hustler prodigy. I love when people say they proud of me. I'm eating good, smoking broccoli. Taking over blocks like Monopoly. Only fuck the ones that's my policy. Most of these hoes tryna cause a scene. Like niggas mad they not on the team. See, I got bread, then buy the dream. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the top. In the booth, playing beats. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the top. In the booth, playing beats. Counting cash and smoking green, can me blow a cloud like a smoke machine. The bitch on my dick, she got no to sing. From the BS, yeah, I know it's thing. I plug your bitch like a 6-string. Jordan with the bitches got 6 rings. Smoke till my bitch a split screen. The press with pain pills and sipping lane. Riding dirty, but I'm extra clean. Lyrics nice, but I'm extra mean. All-star, heavyweight like Wolverine. The bitch learns like she open me. I flip money like Clover G. Gang hustle like TIP. It's hard baby like DIG. Acronym like KRIT. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in Austin, Texas. In the booth, playing beats. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in Austin, Texas. In the booth, playing beats. In the beats like RP, no hard shit where your artery. Cutting up, who sharpens me? Rolling up accordingly. Pulling hoes, no sorcery. Rapping like y'all forcing me. If I ain't right, then it's forgery. Nigga selling to the rock like a Forrest B. Lyrical monster on the Lord of Beats. Text nigga, my bitch Georgia Peach. Pimp tight nigga, I do more than cheat. Cold like D-Wade, I ignore the heat. Bitch, on my way, hit the short for reach. Money jumping like the nigga on my sneaks. Cause the bad J's, get me on the beat. Bitch, I'm always winning like what's the fee?